So, I'm here with Hey there, John Goodwell from
Whiskey Grin.
so Whiskey Grin. Where did the name Whiskey Grin come from?
That name came. I was kind of toying with the name for a while, and I was thinking like, well, what I wanted us to sound like, and that just came to me. I tried a different couple of. I know I wanted to have whiskey in there, but I just didn't know what to put after it. So that was, going back and forth and going back and forth, and the Grin sounded like it fit.
Like it needed to be in there.
Yeah.
So you guys, Whiskey Grin has been together for how long? Because I've only known about Whiskey Grin for a year, 2 days from now.
Whiskey Grin, it officially, I guess, got put together in 5 years ago. And so that would be what, 2000? Yeah.
It's right around your
2012?
Yeah, right. August. Yeah, August 12th, August 15th, 2012.
So I think our first gig was like
Yeah.
we won't say the number.
Yeah, yeah, we won't say the number.
But it was a special birthday.
A special birthday.
Special birthday for me, and it kind of like just fell together because it was an idea I had that John and I were working in a studio recording with Kevin Ayers, doing 3 other albums of material that we had compiled over the years,
Right.
and basically. I wanted, after we were done with that project, I wanted to get something new going, and I wanted to play out live again. I was getting that itch, and I asked John, and he said, yeah, he was into it, and so I had a birthday coming up. I said I was planning on having a few bands play, and why don't we play? And we didn't really have a whole lot of material, as far as that was apart from the session work we were doing before.
Because that was all original stuff that we wrote when we were 15, 16
Right.
years old.
Yeah.
Not young little children.
Yeah.
Yeah, little grinners.
Right. So you came from Sankum, right? And then where did you come from in the music scene? Like, because people know where,
Yeah. I was a church guy. I was a church musician, what they call a worship leader.
worship leader.
Yeah, I was a worship leader for a good 10 years.
And then, but you were always in music, but you went in and out, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Just like most of us.
that's a pretty serious gig right there too.
Right.
And that's constantly performing,
Right.
in front of an audience, on a weekly basis, and rehearsing with a band, leading a band,
Right.
So.
And then, so you guys started Whiskey Grin with just you two, but you've gone through a couple of drummers,
Yeah.
right? And then now you have the drummer that I know.
It's the drummer of our dreams, man.
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy because
Drummer of a lot of bands' dreams. That's why they call him
right,
Dream,
right? But what's crazy is like when the first time I ever saw you guys was last September, and I'm at the show and I'm looking and I'm like, I know that guy from somewhere, and it just happens to be Dream, who is iconic, in the Jersey scene.
Yeah.
So for me to see him up there playing with you guys, there is no better fit. His groove, along with the way you guys are, the straightforwardness of your music, you have that classic rock feel, but you still have that I'd say the crossover. Some of the stuff I've heard, because I have heard the CD, and I hear a little bit of this, I hear a little bit of that, but it's still Whiskey Grin. I hear stuff on that CD. I know the songs on the CD, all but one song, and I hear them a certain way on the CD, and that's how I envision them to sound. And you guys bring it on the CD. It sounds very live.
That's really what we were going for
Yeah.
on that. And of course, with Dream in the band, he does complete the trilogy of Whiskey Grin.
And it's interesting because he kind of chose us.
Right.
We were trying out a bunch of different drummers, and Dream seemed like he was out of reach, but he saw us and he wanted to audition.
Right.
You know, so it's not that we approached him; he chose us.
Right, because he's a busy guy in the music
He's a
scene.
busy guy.
I told him no. That was,
Well, you
but
were-
I had my reasons.
Right,
you know, so.
and I know exactly why you're saying. You know, your reasons why. When somebody is busy in the scene,
Right.
you want to see their dedication. And,
Sure. And the thing that he did that was, kind of surprising to me, that was, that his level of commitment was that, that he really wanted to make Whiskey Grin his home.
Exactly.
Right.
And then he told me before that he never wanted to be in another band full time. But until he met us.
Right.
And he says now he's home.
Right.
And we like when he's home.
Well, the one thing I see, not only is his drumming, but the vocalization as well.
Yeah.
You know, he brings a part of vocalization in your band you didn't have before. You know,
Well, we've always had three
Kevin,
vocals.
Kevin did
Yeah.
that.
And that was strong.
Yeah, Kevin had strong vocals.
See, I've never seen the version of Whiskey Grin without Dream.
Right.
Right.
So I don't know anything about the past.
And
So
the other thing that made it difficult to replace Kevin, because we had a chemistry that went back to our teens.
Teens, right.
You know, not to mention, he's a strong drummer, strong vocalist. You know, and it just helped. When he left, it left a huge hole.
right.
You know,
And what do you do, John, when
left
you
with
with
a huge hole. You fill it with a large black man.
With a lot of fault. And he's got great chops.
He does. He's awesome.
So about this recording of the CD, because I was told by the guys at PhillyRockRadio.com, get this fucking CD done.
Well, it's fucking done.
Right. And then they were kind of jealous because
Actually, it's not really done.
Well,
I can't say it's done.
it's got one
gotta
more step to go.
One more step to go.
But, and we're all trying to get it done. So when I spoke to them tonight and I said that, I'll be listening to your show until the Whiskey Grin Boys show up at my house, because I'm going to interview them. And they said, I'm jealous. Which is a cool thing, because to get a CD from you guys is a big deal. Because we've all been wanting it.
Oh, we're not giving you that.
No. You don't have to.
That does not stay here.
I want the complete version.
Yeah.
I want the complete version.
I know that we catch some flack about it. I catch a lot of flack about how long it's taking, and
But fine wine, just so you know.
Well, it's a good analogy because wine, wine, the way a good wine is made is that the seed has to struggle.
Right.
And it has to grow in the roughest of terrain to get really good roots.
Look at this guy.
I'm serious. Yeah, like I'm getting deep here. But I'm serious. But that brings out the sugars inside that seed that blossom into a good grape that gives you a good wine. And Whiskey Grin, through the last 5 years, our roots are deep, but it's only because of the struggles that we've been through.
Right.
We've been putting a lot into this, and we've been taking care of this vine. So now, metaphorically speaking, at the end of this, now we believe that we have a really good bottle of wine.
Right. And since I got to hear it, I can honestly say that it's very good. Like the mix is good. And who's mixing?
Ron Tagg at
Ron
Greenfield
Tagg.
Studios.
Right. And I can say that the way it was done, the drums sound phenomenal. The bass, they sit in the mix perfectly. John's vocals sound amazing. The harmonies sound great. You're playing. I was listening to it and I'm like, oh, I like that little arpeggio he just did there. The little sweep he did here. It's very tastefully done though. You're a very good guitar player. He's a very good bass player, and I can hear it on the CD. Live, you hear it as a whole, but when you're listening to a CD, you can really hear it because it sits in the mix.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a complete Whiskey Grin CD. Like, I can't say I have favorites, but I will say the last song on that CD I've never heard before, and I was like, wow, this.
Yeah. That one we don't play out live. The song Palace or the Paramore. We don't play it out live too often. The last time we played it live, I believe, was at Rock for Food.
Right.
At the Flying W. And
the thing that it became came in the studio, it almost makes it impossible to
It makes it tough.
play.
But what I said to him was, I think it's great that there's a song like that on there,
Yeah.
because it can show elements that you guys have
Mhm.
for the next CD, and it opens up doors on things that you guys might not have chosen to do musically,
Right.
because you had something to build. To, it starts out basically, but when you're in a studio, you know in a studio you can build and build and build.
Right.
Sometimes you put too much in the basket, and it really doesn't enhance. That song sounds amazing.
It's the thing that you're talking about. Like in the studio, what we were having to do is like we've done a lot of studio work together. So and it's easy to step over that line,
Right.
of too much
Overproduced.
and overproduce it.
Right.
And that's really not where we were at with this, because we like the rawness that we have.
Right.
And we really wanted to catch that. So yeah, we had to do a lot of cutting. We had to trim back, a lot of this whiskey Grin bush in order to make it a nice, neat little bush.
Right. Everybody likes
Did
a
I-
little
did that
shaved
come out
bush.
right?
That's an interesting analogy.
that's a good one. I
Talk
like that
about,
one.
You know, trimming your bush.
I'm
That's,
gonna keep that. I'm gonna use that some more.
So,
Yeah.
so in this recording, when I want your take on this. So, the songs come from you're singing the songs. So there's a little bit of you in the songs,
oh yeah,
right?
a lot.
And
A lot of there's a lot of autobiographical stuff in there too.
which makes people feel like they can relate to you,
Yeah.
And being a lead vocalist, because you are considered a lead vocalist, even though when you guys play covers, sometimes you sing some
We all
stuff.
sing, but
Right.
it's- yeah, he is
But-
the voice of the band.
Right, he's the voice of the band. So when you're taking a song and I can hear some emotions in the song. Like you told me one of the songs, had something to do with this or that, and I can feel it in the songs, and that's what a good vocalist does. And you definitely pull it off. I can hear the words clearer on the CD than I can live, which everybody can do that.
Yeah.
So I can't wait till it's done so I can completely listen. I listened to it with John while we waited for you to come here, and I totally impressed by the whole thing. As far as the next chapter in Whiskey Grin, what are you guys looking to do besides live shows? You guys already have stuff written for the next CD?
Yeah, we've already started writing for the next album. We haven't been able to put as much time towards that, of course, trying
Right.
to get this done. Just last week, I spent like 4 nights in the studio trying to get to the point where the mixes where the final mix to where
Right.
where it meets all the approval, and then we had a listening session, and everybody's thumbs up on it. So it looks like this is a go. This is where we're going. And but as far as the future goes with the Grin, we've been writing. We don't have our rehearsals are funny. It's not like we get together and we bang out tunes and stuff like that. Our rehearsals start off with, are we having any issues with any songs that we're doing, right? We'll work on a piece here or there, and next thing you know, we're sitting on the couch and we're laughing and joking around. So it's like we don't have like formal sessions. I think a lot of it happens at home when we do our own homework and stuff, and then we offer it up, and then we somehow or another we all get together and craft it. And like John and I have collaborated so much that we do like a lot of bands, we don't sit in a room together constantly and work things out.
Right.
That's good when it happens, because there is a connection there that you dive into the music that way. But there's also when we get together, say with Dream, and he may have a total different kind of sense of rhythm where this should go, and I really hate it because he's 9 times out of 10 he's right.
Well, he's the drummer. That's
I know.
why.
But he puts his spin on it, and he puts his groove on everything, and then when you start listening to it, it's like, yeah, that's exactly where it needed to go.
Right. And that's the whole thing. The whole thing about music, and me especially being a drummer, I get the same reaction from my band members.
Mm-hmm.
They'll send me a song idea, and I'll get it, and I say, hold on, send it to me without the drum machine, and that's when it comes alive. Because we don't live in the same areas or whatever. And Dream, how often do you guys rehearse?
but we play out a lot. So
Right. That is
sometimes
your rehearsal.
sometimes during sound check.
This is
Right.
supposed to be our rehearsal night.
Yeah, actually,
But something always gets in the way of our
something
rehearsal
something
night.
always gets in.
Yeah, because a lot of bands, we don't get to practice like we did back in the 80s or whatever,
Sure.
because we have lives, we have work and all that stuff. And it's still hard to maintain the rock and roll lifestyle
Mhm.
and do it. So we have to find other ways to make it tight. And you guys do play so much. Like, I just looked last week and I'm like, oh, Whiskey Grin's playing Friday. Oh, they're playing Saturday too.
Yeah.
You know, all right, so about this CD. Do you want to release some song titles?
Sure, we'll tell you more.
Let's go. You know what? Let's go one by one. So what's first?
Saturday's Child is first.
Which we've all heard live, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's been around for a little while now. Followed up by Bad Feeling, the title track. What's on there next? We just made this list.
Midnight Driver, because I love the way this actual sequence.
Right.
Because what we did, this was really cool. We just played the last 10 seconds of a song, and and then we would just trial and error what sounds best leading into this. You know?
Right.
And we're just really happy.
Because that's
about the
key.
sequence.
Because as you said, you know, the song is about driving, and most people are gonna be driving in their car when they listen to music. And we've all had that feeling when we're all driving in the car and you go a little faster per song.
Oh, yeah.
A little faster.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
But you guys did good because it's school session, and so you give them a song to slow down to when they get to that little school thing. You know, so
number 3 is Midnight Driver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feet of Clay.
Which is that's a groove tune.
It's a group too.
Yeah.
Battle Creek.
Creek. It starts out kind of dark and eerie, and then just gets in your face.
is that the one I was saying that sounds a little bit like Alice in Chains?
Yeah, that's the one.
It has a little pinch harmonic thing
That's
in
a
it.
little deliberate.
All right.
Yeah, it was delivered.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Black SUV. That the song in itself is dark.
So, you know, if I wrote that song, it wouldn't be dark. Because I come from a different genre.
You come
Right?
from a happy place.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
We come from glam music.
You know, and Dream was really key in Black SUV to kind of steer that into something really a lot more solid than where we originally were going to go with that.
I think as far as drum takes on that song, Black SUV, it's by far my favorite drum takes are on that song. There's some great. He's like an octopus.
Right.
That kid.
Yeah, he's got the percussion going on in that song.
Yeah.
White Spogs,
White Spogs.
which
is after
were the
that.
first song that we wrote together.
Yeah, that was the
That's
first one
Whiskey
as the Grin we wrote together. That was the first one, and then Bleeding Me Dry is after that, and then of course we ended with Palace or Paramore.
Right.
Of the Paramore.
So, out of those songs, which one do you think demonstrates Whiskey Grin complete? Out of all those songs, like if you had to pick one of those songs,
Oh, it's like picking which is your favorite child.
Well, now I'm not trying to get which is your favorite. Out of all those songs, which song do you think gives the Whiskey Grin that mold, that attitude? Which song do you think has the Whiskey Grin attitude?
It's really tough because I think that all of them compiled together really kind of show who we
Different
really
facets.
are.
Yeah, there's different facets of
Because
who we are.
even though we're just like, we're three guys, but it's, I think that the music itself, it's like what he says, it has so many facets, you don't know which direction, we can go in different directions. And what has helped us is the fact that we also play the cover songs, live throughout the years. It's gelled us very well together and tighter that way. And we're still discovering so much about, us three, what we can get away with.
Well, the funny
musically.
thing about the cover stuff is the cover stuff is a very eclectic version of music.
That's on purpose.
Right. Which to me, it just gives a complete clean palette away from your stuff. So when you play your stuff live, because you do play your stuff when you're playing your cover stuff, it makes your stuff stand out a little bit different. I always give you guys shit.
Even
for-
some of our cover
right?
stuff, we play them like they're originals.
Yeah.
We kind of
We put
rewrite
that
them and
Whiskey Grin spin on
Yeah.
it because we don't, whenever
You don't want to spend time working on covers because you don't want to be known as a cover band.
Right.
You want to be known as Whiskey Grin, the original band who's thrown a few covers
there
in
are
on their
some
set.
bands that are committed to playing it just like the album, sounding just like the album, you know, and that's fine if you've got the musicians that can pull it off,
Right.
you know. But if you've got a singer who sounds nothing like Robert Plant, you know,
Right.
then you know, then there's something missing.
I gave you a better compliment than Robert Plant, though. I said you sound a little bit like Ray Gillen. Right?
That's nice.
Yeah, that's a better
That's one of your
compliment than
favorites,
somebody
yeah.
saying Robert
Yeah.
Plant, just so you
Yeah.
know. And I was, and I really said that like wholeheartedly, because when I heard that, I was like, wow, like I've never heard your vocals in that setting. You know what I mean? Like I've always seen you live, 100% live, and you're playing bass, and you're playing bass in a three-piece band, which takes a lot away from vocalization.
Well, I
and
think too is that mellow song, you know, that track number 9, and I remember playing it for a friend, and they're like, "Who's that singing?" And I'm like, "That's me. That's like my real voice."
Right.
You know, because much of what I do is really aggressive,
Right.
And I was able to be more aggressive in the studio than I can afford to be live, because live you got to conserve,
Right.
you know. And
Well, that's what I was going to ask. You know, when you're playing a Whiskey Grin show, it's 35, 40 minutes.
Mhm.
When you're playing Whiskey Grin and doing some covers on the side, you're now playing for 2-3 hours sometimes.
Right.
You got to
And sometimes
conserve
a couple
little
nights,
bit.
and sometimes a couple nights in a row.
But it does help you, even though it hurts you a
It
little
does.
bit. It does help you because you are now able to build stamina in your vocals, and you're using different parts of your voice. You're using more vibrato sometimes.
And I'll tell you, like 2-3 years ago, I wasn't able to do two gigs in a weekend.
Yeah.
You know, let alone 3. You know,
Right.
now we've had weekends where we got three gigs in a
And
weekend.
that's
I couldn't
tough.
do that. I couldn't do that 3 years
That's
ago.
tough vocally. It,
Yeah.
it truly is. I mean, when you look at some of these artists, that, you know, like even that are in their 40s or whatever, you start to lose a little bit. You know, you get winded a little bit more. But doing this is like going to the gym, and you're constantly working it out and working it out. You know, and
The thing
that's
that
key.
helps also is the fact that, like, you know, John is a vocalist, and one of the things I've always admired about John's vocals is that the fact that he can, he's got a lot of different voices.
Right.
Where, like, you know, some singers you hear them, and the moment you hear them, you know, I know that's who that is. You know,
They've got one sound.
They got one sound, one
Yeah.
signature. You
Right.
know, you hear Bon Scott, it's Bon Scott.
Right.
You know, but with John, you know, one of the things I've always admired is over the years, you know, since we were growing up, is that the bag of tricks that he has, or the bag of voices that he has, that he can reach down and pull out something that just sounds, wow, like, where did that come from? Like, what is
Right.
that? You know, and because of all his influences that he's had, and he's studied, say, like Freddie Mercury, who had the same deal. I'm not saying that, like, he's the next Freddie Mercury. I'm
Right.
saying that Freddie Mercury had so many different voices, and you listen to, and you never got tired of listening to Queen albums, because what is Freddie going to do next?
Right.
You know.
Well, that's what I was saying to him. Is basically, I was blown away by what he did. I'm not saying live he doesn't bring it, but I'm able to hear him clearly on the CD, and vocal-wise, he's doing exactly what you said. I hear a little, you know, I heard softness in his voice.
Right.
I heard a grit in his voice. I heard emotion in his voice, and that's what you want him to be able to do. you
In
know?
the studio, Ron was keeping this running list of
different artists and
of
things,
different
people that
there's just these different voices. Even with doing background vocals, these voices I would experiment with, and he just started
He had everybody
running
from, like-
list of you know who that sounds
Oh
like.
yeah, it sounds like Cartman from South Park. You know, there are so many different types of different things, but I think that's kind of like what we all did in the studio.
Right.
We, you know, we were able to pull out every voice we have. Like if it was me on guitar, it's you know, every guitar kind of voicing I can think of to put out there. And same with Dream, his drumming style. I mean, from the beginning of the album to the end, we go through it. Yeah, it's straight ahead rock and roll, but it's not like you're just getting, you know, you're not just getting your basic beats. He's putting down he's laying down some serious stuff in there, you know, and
But
you know,
it's done tastefully. Like I was saying to him about your guitar playing, even like you're able to shred. You're able to shred, and I've seen you shred. But everything on here is done so tastefully on your part as a guitar player that, like, you listen to guitar player oriented music or whatever. You're a 3-piece band. It's hard to make the song sound big, so you're filling it in. but your fills are very tastefully done, and the way the drums and the bass are grooving along, you're not doing, like runs all over the place just to put a fill in here. It's
No,
done
there's
very
times
tasteful.
that his melodies, his leads are just really, really melodic.
Right,
And
melodic.
there's times that they just really, really shred.
Right.
You know?
What is your
What I like.
favorite solo on that?
I know what mine is.
You do?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I know definitely my favorite lead is solo with Battle Creek. It's because it's so melodic. I just love how
Is that the one with the wall?
it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
'cause
half-pop wall.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that stood out to me too.
Yeah.
It was the way that you were actually writing words with your guitar solo in that song.
Well, that's pretty much the approach I took.
Right.
I've been in bands where it's full on shred. You're just a gazillion million miles an hour and a bazillion notes, and that's not what I wanted to do here.
Like I can say that I can pretty much hear every note picked on this, which means that you are very clean, a clean player.
What's your favorite solo one? Do you have one?
No.
Really?
But like when I was doing my solos, I remember talking to John and having him on the phone and telling him Feet of Clay. I said, I know the meaning behind the song, so I was just like, I gotta come out with the guitar sounding like I'm rising up, like I'm struggling to get out of something. You know what I mean? So, I did a harmonic trick on the guitar where I'm actually pulling up on the bar, and I usually don't use a tremolo arm on my guitar, but for this I just needed it because I can't.
Right.
do
No
all
Brad
the
Gillis
keys.
on this, right?
Yeah. So.
Plus, he's got this bag of tricks that it's just bottomless. It's the stuff that he pulls out.
No, he's a great guitar player,
Yeah.
and then you have a special guest.
Yeah, we did. We've had we had Rob Zucchi from the band Stone, good friends of ours in that band. That's kind of like how when Whiskey Grin was never ever meant to be a cover act. It was always meant to be an original act that just so happens we play covers and we make a living doing it that way. But
It puts food on it.
yeah,
Pays for
Pays for
this
your
whole
touring,
project.
right.
Yeah.
But I met Bob Dwam from Stone. He's the drummer, and he him and I became really good friends. And he was like, "Man, I really wish your band would get more songs together. And we can play gigs together." And because they were playing some of the bigger rooms, and they said, and he always had it up there. You just let me know when you're ready, and I'll bring you up, and we'll play the Trocadero.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah. I said, we're working on it, man. But it's slow going. And then all of a sudden, he came up with a gig. He said, yeah, this gig comes up, I think, in like
remember
5
this.
weeks.
Yeah.
And we want you to open for us. And I'm like, dude, I said, we got 3 original songs. and
We had 3 complete. We had
Complete,
3
yeah.
or 4 other partials,
And
but
so-
it really put a fire under us to get those partials
Yes, something like your
complete.
fire,
Yeah.
So and then in the subsequent weeks, we basically wrote the songs that are on this album, and we got to play there, and things just took off from there. Original music wise, we had a lot of musicians in the audience, and a lot of people that that were looking for something new,
Right.
and wanting to sink their teeth into something new, and we provided that. And if it wasn't for bands that like Stone that believed in what we were all about, we wouldn't have been able to do all that.
Right. And then now you have us helping you guys along the scene.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
Don.
music matters.
Yeah. Which is funny because you guys, that's the show I met you guys at. Was the first show that she ever put together on that Harris or whatever, and you guys have done a couple shows since then.
Yeah,
with
Faster Pussycat show,
Right.
opening up for those guys.
Pat Travers.
Yeah,
we
we
at the
playing
arena.
with Pat.
I saw you there.
We love playing the block. We love playing.
Right. It's a great room,
It's a great room. The
I
sound
love it.
system's
Absolutely.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
and the staff is amazing. We have
Staff
some of the
is
best
great.
techs in the world on the stage.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
love the screen.
Yeah.
Behind it just makes. I think it makes the show a whole lot more top notch and professional to have
It-
that animated screen behind you.
It's a good place to showcase your product,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
and the horrible thing about this is not 1985, 86, 87, not even 1990 anymore in this area. Most of the good places are no longer in existence, and we lose more every time. Like we lost Dobbs, we lost the Whiskey Tango. The places are beat up and not existent. Now we have Harris, which is a huge stage,
Mhm.
and that room can be a place where bands can bring record companies in to showcase their stuff. The hard part about it is most bands don't have that young following anymore, which kind of stinks because more talent is in the age group that's playing.
That's that's part of the reason why the direction we took with Whiskey Grin, as far as the way we write and the way we put our music together, we made sure that kind of like my heavy metal days are kind of like behind me now,
Right.
and I had to kind of like recreate myself in a way that would be more conducive to hit a broader audience, and being that I still can't get away from hard rock and I don't want to. We've talked about this many times about how we're kind of like a bridge band. We jump over the whole heavy metal scene because I don't want to be going into my 60s or whatever playing heavy metal. No one wants to.
You're
see
not that close yet.
No, I got plenty of years yet. But I mean, I like you. And but being that band that can play with Faster Pussycat, or dive back and play with Pat Travers, or the next band that may be coming up, even if it was say Alter Bridge or whoever, whoever's out there that we'd be able to.
22.
Yeah, anybody,
Well,
and
Mark 22.
yeah, good band.
Well, there's a lot of good bands in the scene,
Within the scene, yeah,
Which-
absolutely.
and like I said, which kind of sucks because this scene is only as big as the bands make it. It's no longer like there's not a place like say Bonnie's that had a building crowd all the time. Or the Galaxy had the same guys coming in, same chicks coming in every Friday and Saturday, no matter who was playing, and those 60, 70 people would always be in there. And the bands would bring in their 60, 70 to 100 people, and now you'd have a full room.
Right.
The places like that don't exist anymore.
At least not in our area. I think there are some cities
Some cities
that have a really good, musical community that appreciates original music and nurtures it and
Right.
helps it grow. Philly is hard.
hard. It's
Philly
not
is hard.
like the Empire. The Empire was a great place, and it didn't matter who you were that played. You
Back
were playing
in the
to a
day.
packed house.
Back in the day.
Back in those days, when my band would play out, you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a club that had a gazillion people in it.
Right.
But nowadays, it's a little bit tougher. People are getting a little bit older and they got families and lives and stuff like that. But it's something to see when you see that their children are following us.
Right.
So that's cool.
I saw you guys had the best mosh pit in the world last year.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Bunch of 4-year-olds jumping around in
How cool was that, though?
That was
great,
very cool.
because what you
Very
don't
cool.
see is in that one video is that behind all them are all the parents, and there was we had
That was fun.
If that was
5,000
20 some
people
years
there.
ago, you wouldn't be laughing though, because you'd be saying, "Is she going to get me for child support? Is she going to get me for child
Yeah,
support?"
right.
Ah.
I don't know if that one's mine. It's
Yeah. See, so now that we're up into 2017, you feel a little bit better about having 4-year-olds dancing out there.
I love it.
Yeah.
it's good
But-
stuff.
So the bottom line, the bottom line is, Whiskey Grin's going to have their CD out soon, real soon, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we're waiting, anxiously waiting. And
It looks-
Music Matters is definitely
Thank you so much for,
Yeah.
doing what we can for
Thank
you
you so
guys.
much for having us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
always.
appreciate it.
You guys are my brothers. You guys know that. And I can't wait. Let's get it done.